Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. Today I'm back in Cincinnati dealing with my daughter's car, and she has some power door locks that are not functioning properly, which is a very common problem amongst the 70 series cars. So I'm going to show you how to take care of that and fix that. Now the problem actually lies within the latch assembly. For some reason, Volvo on these 70 series cars installed a thermal switch within the latch mechanism. So say for instance a kid gets a hold of your remote and they start ratcheting the remote open and close, open and close. Well, this thermal switch inside of the actual motor that cranks the lock up and down will heat up, and once it reaches a certain temperature, it'll stop the locks from functioning until it cools down. Well, over time, 10, 12, 14 years, those thermal switches in there actually go bad, and when the car heats up to say 80 degrees or something like that, the latches heat up, they think that the latches have been overworked, so they trigger a disconnect on the motor and stop the motor from functioning. Now, a guy over on Matthew's site told me, or one of the sites told me, that what I have to do is I have to remove the latch, open the latch up, remove the power motor from the latch, open up that power motor and remove that little wafer thermal switch and replace it with a solid piece of copper or something. So I need to have some copper so that I can replace that breaker wafer in there, and then you put it all back together and your latches should work forever, because you no longer have that thermal switch in there. But you got to be careful that nobody plays with the locks and burns up the lock motors. Okay, I know that I've already done this repair modification on at least one of these latches, probably two. But right now, when I hit the remote or the power door lock button inside, all of the locks lock as they should. But when I hit the unlock twice on the switch or on the remote, all of the doors should unlock. And right now, this driver's door is not unlocking enough to open it from the outside. The passenger side door is opening enough. The passenger rear is not opening enough. And then the one behind the driver appears to be opening enough. So the only two that's working properly is the one behind the driver and the front passenger. The rest of them are not coming up. Now, after cycling the switch again, the one behind the driver did not come up. So you see a twitch there. So I'm going to go in here and figure out if I did any of these doors that have already been done. But my first instinct was to get used latches from the salvage yard. Man, that's really hit and miss. And if you use a used latch out of the salvage yard, if it's not failing now and it's an original latch, it will be failing soon. So I don't really recommend that, unless when you look at the latch in the salvage yard, the latch has a newer date on it, newer than 8 years old, because I have seen dates on the latches. Now, because you're going to be removing the latch that actually locks the door, once you start this repair, you're committed to finishing it. So make sure you have enough time to start and finish the repair. And if you haven't already fixed your door panels and glued the clips to the door panels and glued the door panels together, you might want to add that in to your expected things to do when trying to fix these latches. Because 9 times out of 10, if you pull the door panels off, the clips are going to fall out, clips will break, panels come apart, and you're going to have to get that stuff glued together as well. Now you can deal with the latch, get the latch back installed, and deal with the door panel later, but I just like doing everything at one time. So the first thing I'm going to do is reach back on this back door back here, unlock it, open it, and remove the door panel. If you need instructions on removing the door panel, look in the about notes of this video and you'll see a link to the video that shows you how to remove the door panels. As soon as you get the door panel off, whatever clips came loose, go ahead and clean the clips off with a razor blade or something to scrape off the old glue and get those things glued back in place. Last time I used liquid nail to glue these back in place, and it seems like the liquid nail is breaking loose a little bit. So this time I'm going to use this Loctite power grip stuff, all purpose. Okay, I got the couple of loose clips on my door panel glued back in place. Now the next thing I want to do is remove this door latch. Now you have this handle that has 4 screws on it that you can take out or leave in place. Doesn't really matter. And then the latch itself has 2 plugs there that need to be unplugged. I believe one controls the light, the other controls the locking, and then you have 2 screws here that have to be taken loose, and then this holds a track in down there. I usually take that out and it helps me maneuver the latch out. So let me get these 2 T30s out, unplug these 2 plugs here, and then show you how I work the door latch out. Okay, I worked the door latch out. Already I can see it was purchased from a salvage yard. When I look around on it, I look at the date that's stamped on it. It doesn't look like a newer date, but I really can't tell. Anyway, next thing I need to do is get this cable loose, and it has a release right here. If I pry in on this release right here, I pry in on this release, then I can work it out with a screwdriver to get it to actually come out. I'm trying to get that in a better focus here. Anyway, where this tab goes down, you can see there's a little plastic lip on it that hooks on the metal part of the bracket. Release that, get this cable in loose, and then work this cable in out of that. So let me get to work on it. So then I got the cable up to the top, turned it, and worked it out like that. So now the cable's there, but I have the latch in my hand. It appears that I have not broken into this latch and fixed that, because that's the seam that I have to open up to get at that motor. So get some kind of knife or something to cut and pry that open around this part of the latch, and you'll see the motor in there. Let me get to work on that. Okay, I got the motor compartment open a little bit. I honestly don't know what to tell you about getting these open. I took a small utility screwdriver, started prying in there, then went with a bigger screwdriver and tried to pry around the edges until I got it open. I cracked the side in 2 places, so I'm gonna stop here because I think I can get the motor out from where it is. So try not to mangle that up. If somebody knows a better way to get this open, go ahead and post it. It may be good to heat the side of it with a lighter torch or something, but I'm gonna stop right here because I don't want to bust this up any more than I already have. So I'm gonna reach in there and slide that motor out. The second latch I was working on, the end piece of the motor assembly popped off, so that's how it looks, and this is how the top looks if it pops off for you. Can't see the date on this one. It has a part number on there, but heck, I don't think it's ever been replaced. It is a part from a junkyard, so I was evidently fishing them out of junkyards, putting them in that worked, and here it is a couple years later, they're already broken. So take the motor out, crack it open, pull the wafer out, put your jumper in. Okay, if you look in the motor compartment, you'll see a couple of prongs in there, and those prongs stick in this part of the motor. So that motor has two openings there that metal prongs stick in that control the motor up and down action for the lock. This is the motor that controls the power lock. So you can see the two prongs right there that the motor plugs into. So the next step is to get inside the motor, and it basically has this metal casing that slides over it. So if you look down the barrel of it, on either side there's two clips. So work something in there to work out those clips, and I'm going to try to work them out with these little utility screwdrivers. Now be real careful prying those out. You don't want to jab yourself with them screwdrivers or something. You may want to put on a leather glove or something like that. But now that I have those two tabs pried out, I should be able to slide this motor out of this case. Now look at the orientation. The serial number is on the opposite direction from those two prongs, because I want to put this case and everything back on the way it came off. Okay, I slid the motor out of the casing. Some dirt did fall out. I don't know if that's some kind of magnet or something still in there. So you might want to shake or brush that dirt out real lightly. Don't get too aggressive with it. But now I'm going to show you where that wafer is. Look at the side of the motor that has the two prongs and tilt it this way. At the very top, you'll see a little square wafer in the top of this motor. So I'm going to go ahead and start working that out so you can see what it looks like. Okay, I started working a wafer out. I'm rocking it back and forth, and you can see the shiny tip of it right there coming up out of the motor. So grab something, tweezers, needle nose pliers or something, and go ahead and lift that out of there. Okay, I got the thermal switch out. If you look down in there real close, you'll see some electrical contacts in there that this wafer thermal switch was actually helping make contact. So you need to get a piece of aluminum, solid piece of aluminum or a solid piece of copper, and slide it in that hole. So you need to make it this thick. Now what I typically do is find a electrical wire that's used to wire houses, the solid thickest electrical wire I can find, and I cut it that long, and then I smash it, because it's normally round. I smash it with a hammer so that it's about that thick. So I got now a piece of metal about that thick. I cut it that long, and I slide it down in the slot of this motor. So let me see what I have, because I don't know if I got an electrical wire with me or not. Okay, I have what appears to be a copper washer. I cut it in quarters, and then I snipped the end of it and bent it so that it's just about the size of that wafer. Like that. I'm going to snip a little bit off the end of that, and it's just about the same thickness of the wafer. So I'm going to put this together, put everything back together, and see how it works. You could file it square if you want, but it would be good if you just had a solid piece of copper that you made the shape of and size of that wafer. Okay, so I got this piece jammed down in that motor the way I need it, making those electrical contacts. So now I'm going to put the motor back in the casing, of course with the shaft around the same length it was, and re-secure the casing on the motor. Now I got the motor slid back together. I got the alignment pin out the bottom. I got the serial number on one side and the prongs on the other. Now I'm going to tap a screwdriver and re-secure the motor casing on. Tap it real lightly with a hammer or something, and the screwdriver as a punch. I use the C-clamp to hold the motor in place while I tap the casing secure, but I didn't squeeze it with that clamp. Now I put the motor back in place inside the latch assembly. So I'm going to put some silicone or something around the edge of this latch where I tore it open, and I'm going to put a piece of Scotch tape or electrical tape on it to hold it closed while the glue sets. And that's how I put the sealant around the end cap that I'm going to now press onto the motor latch assembly and then tape together. Do your best to get a nice solid bead around the motor casing so that it seals itself, weatherproofed as best it can. this is going to be the bottom of it, so it may have an opening there for any moisture drain out. Then I squeezed it closed with a pair of pliers. Now I'm going to put a piece of tape on there because I'm not going to sit here and wait for this to dry. Alright, that's what my little tape looks like, just to hold it in place. So I'm going to go ahead and put the latch in. Now, when you put the latch in, you have to understand that that ball on top of this latch here gets caught by the door handle, and that's what the door handle pulls when it goes to pull this latch open and close. So, when you look up here in your door, let me try to get this, you'll see that plastic piece right there. That plastic piece is where that knob needs to fit into, so when you pull the handle, it pulls the latch. So go ahead and work the latch in place, making sure you get the top of it in that. Now before I get the latch in place, I'm gonna hook the cable back up. So I'm gonna work the cable in there so that it's locked back in place, and slide that end of the cable, lock that in on this part of the latch. So let me go ahead and do that first. I got the cable in place there, and it locked down in there. Now I'm gonna work the latch into position. Okay, once you believe you have the latch in place, you can see it sitting outside the door. You can see the 2 screw holes. You could put a screw in there if you want, or you can throw the latch closed with your finger. Then you could pull the handle outside here, and while you're pulling the handle, you could try to open this with your other hand. So let me set this down, pull the handle, and try to pull the latch open to make sure that the handle is in the latch properly. I'm going to try to hold this camera here on my shoulder to see if I can do that while you watch. Pulling the handle and undoing the latch. Alright, the latch came open, so that should be good. Now I'm going to put the 2 screws in there, put the screw down here in this trim, close the door, and try to reopen it, making sure that this is in the up and unlock position. That's locked, that's unlocked. Okay, I got the 3 screws in place. I got the latch open so that the door closes. I got the thing pulled up, and I'm going to move my 2 wires, make sure they don't get closed in the door and broken. Then I'm going to close and open the door, see if it works. Okay, I'm going to swing and close the door. It closes. Now I'm going to pull the handle to open it, and it opens. So the latch is installed properly. Now I'm going to plug the 2 plugs in there. Okay, I got my latch in place. My connectors are connected. Now I'm going to hit the lock and unlock button, see if my latch works. It did lock. Let's see if it unlocks. And it appeared to unlock. Last time that wasn't moving at all. There's lock. And there's unlock, which means it worked twice in a row. So let me walk around and see if it is truly unlocked. There goes the test, and sure enough it unlocked. So I'm good to go there. I'm going to go ahead and put the door panel back on, put all the clips in place, and I'll be done with that one, and I'll go ahead and work on another one. So if you got any questions, go ahead and post it. If you feel that this information was beneficial, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can also subscribe to my channel so that you can get notification of future videos that I post. Visit my channel. I have all types of do-it-yourself videos there. You can leave questions here, and I'll try to respond to them as quick as possible. You can also visit my website at robertspinner.com. Thanks again for watching.